wanted to pop on the camera and show you what I was working on. I'm kind of making little clusters, snippets, I don't know, there's many different names for them, but I wanted to do kind of like a, you know, do a whole bunch at once. So I made this entire snippet clusters. So what I did is I basically just had a bunch of, you know, scraps, you know, fabrics and ribbons and laces. I keep a little container here of like a whole bunch of different things. So I keep that there. I get a whole bunch of, you know, music paper or old book pages. And then I have a whole stack of, I got them at a yard sale, I believe, one time, and they're just a stack of square cutout cardstock, and it's a nice green color, you know, to use as a background. I also did use some of these paint swatches as my basis for my background. So really all I did is I just set up my sewing machine, and I basically just started putting, you know, I put, here, let me turn it over. Sorry, this is kind of long. I mean, not long, it's probably 5 foot long. But basically what I did is I just started, you know, putting these blocks, and then that way I can cut them right here, and then I still have an entire base. Same thing that I did with the paint swatches. I just did it here, and these I will just cut. But I really like the squares better because then I have, you know, little bite-sized pieces, I guess I want to say, for all of these. So what I did is just basically, and I took some magazine, you know, book pages, fabric pieces, book pages, children's book pages. I really like this sewing book that I have, because you can see here it's all of these textures of fabric. And here's a needlepoint magazine, or a book page, and a magazine. And then this one here. Let me grab the book so you can see what it is. I did do it in a haul, and it is fantastic. So it is this one and this one. So how I get, it's almost like using scrapbook paper, because you have all this really neat, I mean, look, it's like a crocheted, you know, and they're all colored and stuff. So I've really liked using these for making these clusters. So one is, I think I've showed it before, the complete guide to needlework. And so in here is how you can get, let me see if I can find, you know, here's where you can get all of these textures here. I think they have, here's some material, here's like quilt, here's like quilt pieces. And these are fantastic for making these clusters, because it's not just a scrapbook paper, it's almost like a textured image. Here's some more there. And then you kind of get up to the needle point. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. See, these are stitches, needlepoint stitches, and they're already colored, already have like a texture look to them. And then there's always like finished projects, and here's like, see, here's another one. Isn't that great? So I do use this book. Love it. I've used a lot out of it. And then these other ones, which is this here, these pieces, you can see them tucked underneath this one. Isn't that pretty? So I used a book page that had talked about teacups, and then under it is this one and this one, which is out of this book that I'm going to show you right now. Sorry, I can't get it all in the frame here. So it's this right here, the Brother Knitting Pattern. This entire book is filled, whoops, this entire book is filled with thousands and thousands of images and colors of different types of knitting. Oh my gosh, it is fantastic. I love this book. Look at that. It is just remarkable for doing these. I love it. I can't say it enough. So really all I did was I started in my machine. I just started adding layers. You know, I just took, you know, pieces of everything, like I said, book pages, ribbon, novel pages. I actually just had pages ripped out, and then I just started, you know, adding it to my machine. Just start layering it, and just run your machine, layer it, put more in, tuck it in, and just keep overlapping. I mean, you can put little tags in, just anything you want. So then I will just, let me get my scissors here. So here's the very start of it. Here's the very start of it here. So what I'll do is I'll turn it over and I will cut right here on this edge, or you can try tearing it. So then I have this little cluster here. Now what I'll do is I'll cut all these pieces out so they're manageable pieces. And then I will start with adding, I'll hand sew some buttons on, or I will get my little tray out here with like all of my little tiny cutouts. Now these are like too small, you know, to actually put through the sewing machine. So I will either hand sew it or get my glue out, and then I will put, you know, some layer up some flowers on here, you know. So maybe I'll do, you know, this one, and then maybe I will put a little gem on there, you know, like a bead or something, and then glue it, and then I will have my little scrap snippet piece. And then I will also tuck in sometimes my paper clip, and then it will paper clip to the edge of the book, or I can glue it on. I mean, there's many videos out there about, you know, how you use, you know, your little scrap clusters. But that's how I will do it. I even have little blank ones cut out, so you can, you know, I can stick that on there and stamp on some words or glue some words on. A lot of different things. I have just hundreds of little different cutouts here to use, so I just keep them all in this little, it's almost like a fishing tackle box or whatever, you can get it anywhere. And I just sit and cut a whole bunch out. So here's some butterflies, so, you know, I could put a butterfly on here, add more stuff to it. But this is basically like my layered base, is I guess what I want to say. So that's my starting point, and I'll leave my thread on there hanging. So like the next one, now I can use my pinking shears if I want to have like a decorative edge as I cut it out. So if I cut this one, so now I have my pinking shears on this one, and then now it's ready to go. I can add my small items to it. So, and then I've got a nice color background. So now this one, let's flip this around because these were all green. Now this one here, I kind of did a kid's version. This would be really good for a little golden book, so that's why I did that one. So now I don't want, this one here has, I think, rug latching. That's what this one is. It's out of one of those book pages. So I don't want that. I want like this here to be one whole thing, and I could put it on a page or make a pocket with it. So I could even take, you know, decorative scissors, also, you know, your decorative scissors, and cut across here and cut these out. Try this one. And oops, it almost cut through the fabric, but it didn't. Matter of fact, I could leave it hanging off if I want, but I've already cut part of it through. So let me finish cutting it. Okay, there we go. So now I've got another little piece. I'll stick it in my dish there. So that's another idea. So this one has, you know, if you can see, I have, whoops. So I took the decorative scissors and made a cut on that one. And so this one here, I can also, you know, you have room under here to tuck more things. So if you want to, you know, add more stuff hanging out the top, you can. But I do like this so it's flat, because then I can take a paper clip and use, this is a paint swatch here, so this is the back of it. So I can actually use a paper clip and I can hide it back here like that, so then you won't see much of it, and then stick it right onto your book page. So like this kind of fell out, so it didn't get into the stitching, so I could just take some glue and glue that back in there so it can stick out like that. So I just run one line down it. So that's what I do. So I made kind of like a mass-produced scrap clusters is how I created that. And then I'll just go along and I will just cut all of these out. Like here's a cup of tea, and this is material from a rice. Sometimes I buy my bag rice and it comes with this cloth bag with it, and so I cut it up. So this kind of would go maybe in a cooking journal like that. So I would cut it here and maybe like right here, and it would be a large snippet, or I could cut it in 2 spots, you know. So, and then here's like a nice flower one with flowers. So I just kind of did, you know, different groupings of different styles. Here's some more needlepoint. This one would be really cute in a kid's one. There, like that size. Here's some nice purples. So, and you can just keep layering and layering as much as you want, as how heavy as you want. But that's what I did. So I just thought I would pop on the camera and show how I did my little mass-produced snippets. And I will finish them up, and I'll come back and show you my finished ones. Okay, I am back with a whole bunch of the scrappy clusters that I did. So let me just kind of show you around my completed scrappy clusters. And I will individually, you know, show you one by one so you can see them all. And how I changed the looks of each one. So I did my whole roll like I explained, and then I cut them up, and then I did my finished altering. Okay, so for instance, let's take this one. So this was my original base here that I had cut off the roll, and I put a, this is a really vintage cutout, and then I backed it onto just a doily. And so this I can stick right to just about anything. I can add it to a paper clip, page, pocket, glue it, make a tuck out of it, whatever. So this is how I do them. So I'll show you this one. Okay, then I have this one. This one here, I did not change anything. This has been, you know, this one I didn't change because this is just cut right off the roll that I did. And I really, all I did was just put this little piece of scrapbook paper like that says "Oh Joy" on it. And then I sewed, hand sewed a button with a little bit of trim on this cluster here. Okay. Then this one I made into a corner hugger. So this is the piece here. right here, not this corner. So this is the cluster. I added this little kind of cutout here, and then I added this dimensional little flower, and then I added this bunny rabbit, and then I made a corner hugger out of scrapbook paper. So all I did was, so you can see where this is from the roll, and then I just glued it on, and so this goes onto a corner, and I can show you here how that works. This is a journal that I'm working on right now. So let me show you. Let's see, I need a left page for this one. So for instance, let me bring this down here a little bit. So if this is my piece of paper and I want to put it on there, it just sets right on the corner of the page, and then you have a corner hugger, page hugger. So, and then you can use it as a tuck spot underneath on this side, and then of course you can tuck more on there. So that's what that is. Okay. This one here, this was the original card, and then I tucked this little piece in here. I did a punch out with my punch, a scalloped square, and I stuck it in the top there, and then I added this believe here, and then I added this little jewel tone trim to it. And this is a needlepoint teapot, so I added a little bit of vegetable here, so this would be really cool for really any type of journal, but more of like a recipe journal or something like that. Alright, and then this one here, so this one will be a paperclip one, and grab a paperclip. So this is a straight top, so it would fit right on. Let me get my book back out again. So this would fit, let me find a empty page here. So this would go, so because I have many layers, I can, you know, there's many layers to this, so you can just take your paper clip and go behind it. You won't even see it, so you don't even see the paper clip, but it's on the back here, and then you just stick it on the top of your page, and then that way it doesn't raise above your page. Some of them I made that it can be raised above, but this one, because it was straight, I left it like that. So there is that one. Isn't that cute on the top of a page? So this one had a cup of tea, and it had my rice bag here. So I thought, why not do a vintage cutout of, this is like an old advertisement cutout for Kellogg's, probably cereal. And I just thought it was really cute. So this would be really neat for any journal, though it's cute. Alright, then you can also put your cluster on top of a card. So you can put it on a card and make it a large item. So then it basically, this can be a journaling card. And I hand sewed, well, I put this ribbon behind it here, and then I sewed this button on through the back. And actually you could take some washi over it or whatever, or just leave it plain. But so now I have a journaling card with this cluster on it. That's all I did with this one. Okay, and then this one, I kind of made a topper to it. So this one, where I cut it off my little roll, was kind of more little golden bookish style. So it has a little boy with the goose, and it's got yellows, and this was already sewed on there. So then what I did is I took a paint chip or paint, paint card. These here that you get like at the paint store, which, that tells you what it is. So I did a scalloped punch, and I just took the punch, which is this is the same card underneath here as the base, but I added a scallop to it. And all I did was just glue it on. You can see here where I glued the scalloped part right over top of it. And so now it's kind of like a tag, in other words. I could punch a hole here, or I can just use it, as a tag. And then I can put something over the back if I wanted it to be a journaling spot, or basically what I thought I was going to do with this would just be to glue it right to a page, and I could use it as a tuck spot. So that's another idea. It was really cute. Okay, so there's lots of things you can do with clusters, because you sit and think about what am I going to do with all of these. So here's another one. This one is just cut right off the roll that I made, and all I did was add a butterfly, and then I added a couple punch outs of flowers on a little gem here, and this will just be really darn cute just to stick in a journal anywhere. So there's that one. Here is another piece just like it, cut right off. Right here's where I sewed it down my the ribbon I was making. This one here I added a butterfly, and then I added a little vellum flower here, and then a punch out, and then I hand sewed, nope, this one I glued on, and then I glued on a button on this one. Really cute. Super, super cute. Okay. Now this one I made into a tag, but this is deceiving because all I did was took a part of a tag that I had cut off the bottom, or I didn't want. This was just a piece of scrap actually, so I'm like, okay, why not add it to the top of this cluster and make it a tag? And it's got the little words butterflies, so I stuck a butterfly on there that I had cut out, and then this and some ribbon. That's all I did, and you can glue this right onto a book if you want and make it a tuck spot. Really cute. Anywhere you want. You can actually hang it too, so. Alright, this cluster I made into a belly band, and so this is some vintage ribbon here. Oops, if I can get it to focus. So this is some vintage kind of satin ribbon. And all I did was sew, well, let me back up a little bit. So this piece here, if you can see it without the scallop, so this was my cluster, the original cluster. I added this little piece of trim, and then a button, and then I added this scalloped punch here. And then I took it all and sewed it onto this ribbon. So now this is all ready to go as a belly band in a journal. So for instance, let's find a page here. So then basically I can take this and put it right into my journal, and it would make a beautiful belly band. Okay. So that's another idea you can do with the scrap clusters. Okay, so here's another one that's kind of like a tag that I made. Again, it's just a cut off. Well, you know what? This one was not. This was just a piece that I had of scrap. And I took my scalloped punch that just punches just the top, and I punched the top, added it to my piece. This is the original piece here. I added a little cutout of a bird. And then I add, nope, this was in there, sorry. This is the only thing I added was this. And then I did some paper, this is like some paper mache, not paper mache. This is, it comes on a roll, and it's this stuff here. Isn't it beautiful? It's like really fine paper, and it's already punched down. It comes on a big old roll. So I just took a piece of that, and put it on to this punch out, added it to my cluster, and then there I have this really cute cluster card. Okay. There you go. Alright, this one here, I left the cluster the same. I just used my pinking shears to give it a design on the top. I stuck the word happy in there. And then I thought it would be pretty with this blue bird, since there was blue and purple in this here. And then what I did is there was some fabric, you know, like the thread coming off this fabric. And so what I did is I glued it into his beak. So it looks like he is gathering string to make his nest for in the spring. So I just thought that was really cool. And again, this was just cut straight from the roll that I made. Okay, then this one turned out really cool. I love it. So this one was cut straight off. This I used wavy. Oh, you know what? That's the other tip that I have for you. So on my rotary, I have the design cutters, you know, or zigzag. So when I had my roll, you know, like if my roll was like this that I made, I took this and I went right across where I wanted to cut my section. So it gave me this scalloped edging here. So that's how I got that. Okay, so then I added this wild roses because there's a rose here. I added some lace, and then I hand sewed a button on my piece. That's the whole thing here. That's all I did with this cluster. And it turned out really cute. I like it. All right, 2 more to go. So this one here, same thing. This one I just cut straight across. I added this little message, herbs and wildflowers, and I added the paper scalloped here. This is just like book page paper. It was kind of like a, you know, end of a page, so it didn't have any writing on it. So that's just this, and a little cutout, and I put a gem on there. So urban wildflowers. I thought that was really pretty. I like the green and then the little orange flower. So there's that one. And then my last one, I backed onto a coin envelope. So why not? So like I put a cluster on my coin envelope, and this would be really cute to put in a book. So this one here, I added this little vintage game piece down here. And then I added this little scallop cutout, and I put a stamped the number 9 on there, and then I tucked this little tag in the back here. And I think that was it. Yeah, the rest of it was already on there, and then I just glued it onto the back of my coin envelope. So there you go. That is how I ended up finishing all of my little clusters. Like I said, you can use them so many different ways. The page huggers, paper clips, just glue them on a page, use them as tucks. So it's just so much fun. I loved just taking the sewing machine and just keep feeding in different things here and there and layering them as I sewed, and it was fun. It was just really fun. I loved it. And then this is how I finished them off. So that was my version of what I do with clusters and how I make them, kind of like a mass production, and this is plenty for me to work with for a while. So thank you for joining me, and hope I inspired you to get in there and do some creating. All right, have a good day, everyone. Bye.